I do not own the rights to that music. I do not own the rights to that music. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Today is Monday, January 13th, 2025, and thank you for waking up with me in this edition of Monday Morning Madness. This morning on I'm Just Saying podcast. You know, you can, right now, we are live on Facebook and YouTube right now this morning, as well as later on, it will be available on Spotify, iHeartRadio, and Amazon Music. Okay, so you can get up. Those of you who may be tuning in on Facebook right now, this will be available if you want to ride with it and listen to it in your car. You can go on Spotify, iHeartRadio, or Amazon Music later, and it will be available. Okay, good morning, good morning, good morning. I hope your weekend was great. Hope your weekend was wonderful. Again, this is Mr. Kankakee, JJ Hollis, up with you early this morning. And hey, it's going to be a good day. It's going to be a good week. It's going to be a good month. As always, don't forget to share this video, share this video, share this video. Hope this gets and motivates you, gives you a lot of information as I do every time on my podcast. And be looking for my other podcast, the Diamond Report. And we will be having some special people on there. Just contacted a couple of athletes. Hopefully they'll get back in touch with me. I want to give the kids the real on some things going on. But today is Monday, and I want to touch on a topic that's near and dear to all of our hearts. I got people tuning in from all around the country, but things that have been going on in my community here in Kankakee, Illinois. We just had a tragic event go on New Year's Day, where 2 young men lost their lives and 7 people in total were shot at a New Year's Eve party. Okay, and now's the aftermath. What do I mean by that? My topic today is dealing with trauma and things that come along with it. Okay, um, we don't understand a lot when it comes to trauma, when it comes to our mental health, but it happens all the time in our community. There's a term. There's a term called PTSD in mental health circles. I'm a mental health professional. I was a social services director in Chicago. Now I'm a rehab counselor with the state of Illinois. And one thing I can tell you, dealing with PTSD stands for post-traumatic stress disorder. Now, a lot of people think that only deals with people in the military. No, it does not. We have kids, we have adults. No matter what color you are, no matter how old you are, some people are dealing actively with trauma, and it's affecting their mental health. Some things could have happened in their childhood. Like I'll use myself as an example. I was home from college one time, and I heard gunshots. Okay, I heard gunshots. I was going past the car wash. I heard gunshots. I fall, get out on the ground. Well, in the aftermath, me and my family walked down to the corner, and there's cars, people crying and everything. Ambulances are there. So when the ambulance leaves, they pull away. They pull away from the cars and get the cars. They put the guy on the gurney. He has a bullet hole in the middle of his head. He was dead on the scene. They put a face towel over his head. Now, me I think at that time I was about 21, maybe about 21 years old. Trauma. I was waking up at night, still seeing that guy with that bullet hole in the middle of his head for about 6 months. I mean, I'd wake up in the middle of the night shaking and sweating. Did I tell anybody? Nah, I didn't. I didn't. I talked to my parents about it a little bit, but it affected me. It affected me. And I had it. Didn't know till later on what was actually affecting me, but I had a support system to where that's what happened. Okay, so I had a very traumatic experience, and to show you it still affects me to this day, I just told you about it verbatim like it happened yesterday. So these are the things I'm trying to tell you how. Now imagine how some of those people at that party felt and are feeling right now. There was 30 bullets. Let me repeat that. There was 30 bullets found inside that house. And only 7 people got shot. This could have been a lot worse. So how do you think those people feel that had bullets going past their face and things like that? There's some things called survivor's remorse. Okay. There's some people feeling bad because they said, how was I standing right next to a person and they died and I didn't? There's a lot of things we got to take into account here. And we have to get those people some help. See, too many times in our community, within the African American community, we see it as a sign of weakness if we get help. Or if we say we're having some mental health issues right now. I'm suffering with depression. I'm suffering, I think, with PTSD. I'm suffering with some things. We look at it as a bad thing. If somebody come up to you and say these words, hey man, everything all right? And you get offended, it might be time for a little help, because people just want to help you. People not trying to put you down and stuff. But in our community, that's what happens. In our community, that's what happens. What happens in our community is we look at it as a crutch. We look at it as it's just you putting people down in our community when you say, and we have a tendency to do this, and we need to stop doing this. Oh, ain't nothing wrong with him. He a little crazy. Yes, there's something wrong with him. Yes, there's something wrong with her. And PTSD affects people no matter the age. Remember this. There's some kids at local schools here and schools around the country that are dealing with some type of stress. And there could have been some PTSD. There's no way, and you guys have heard me say this before, there's no way a kindergarten kid should be mad at 7, 8 o'clock in the morning. That was one of the funnest times of my life. And I was never mad at any of that stuff. But there's some kids in our community and other communities, like I said, it doesn't go by race. Okay? There's some kids dealing with some things. There's some kids that are being sexually abused. There's some kids that have some separation anxiety because their fathers have been snatched out of their lives, either by the jail system or parental differences, or their fathers were killed tragically. Okay? And those kids are dealing with that every day. Are we actively getting those kids some help? We, as a society, I'm going to tell you right now, are dropping the ball on recognizing and getting those young people some help. If a kid is constantly in trouble in school at 5, 6, 7 years old, that's that baby's way of asking for help. But what do? We just push them to the side. Oh, ain't nothing wrong with them. We have to deal with that child. And when we deal with that child, if we do our job and we deal with that child, we have to deal with that child holistically. What do I mean by that? I mean, we have to call in the families and get the families and see what's causing this child to be this mad and this upset and this angry and this depressed at school. It may be something going on. The child may not be eating. Something that simple. Or the child may be in an abusive household. Or the child may be being neglected. Or it may just be as far as, hey, the mom's stressed out or the dad's stressed out because they ain't got jobs. Come on, man. We got to do better. We have to do better in dealing with trauma and dealing and recognizing and understanding when this happens. Okay, there's a lot of things that go on. Look, I coach football. Been coaching football almost 30 years, man. I can't believe that, man. God done blessed me to be a coach and a mentor and a community leader here in Kankakee. But my community leader stuff started when I was at Memphis State University, University of Memphis, when I was a student leader on that campus. And I brought it home here to Kankakee. But I've been blessed to do that. But I've also been blessed to see kids dealing with trauma. When I was coaching at Eastside, my whole football team that year dealt with trauma. You want to know why? One of those years, one of my football players, Deshaun Harrell, drowned in the Kankakee River. And that affected not just my football team, but the coaching staff too. It affected me. But we rallied around each other, and I put my arms around those kids, and we retired his jersey, number 5. That's the jersey he wore. And nobody ever wore number 5 as long as I was coaching at Eastside on the junior varsity level. Nobody wore that jersey. Nobody wore that jersey. We bring it to every game with us and everything. And that was our way of dealing with the trauma. And I understood that those kids were dealing with a lot. But we have to recognize that there are some kids that are going to be affected by this shooting we just had in Kankakee. That's somebody's cousin. Those 2 kids, that was somebody's cousin. That was somebody's, and from what I'm understanding, one of those young men had just had a baby. So you think that's not going to affect that baby? Is that baby's growing up without a father? Come on, man. We got to do better, and we got to recognize and give people some help. See, me, I'm about being proactive, not reactive. That's my thing. I'm about being proactive, not reactive. Once we see something has affected a child, we need to be on it, Johnny on the spot. And we don't just need to be on it as a school district. We don't just need to be on it as a city, as a county. We need to have services readily, and listen to the word I use, readily available. When there's a crisis, we ought to send those people into those houses. Now, if the people reject it, they reject it, but we've done our job. And listen to the word I said, we. Hey, I don't take myself out of the equation. See, I'm not one of those people that's in the pointing fingers and doing all that. Nah, man. What we pointing fingers for? What are we going to get out of that? Let's work together to solve the problem. So if I got to call in to J.J. Hollis, and I don't like J.J. Hollis, I don't care for him for whatever reason you don't, but I know J.J. can help, guess what? I'm going to call J.J. in. That's it. That's it. Get out of your feelings. Everybody needs to get out of their feelings and understand this ain't about you and me. It's about our community, and it's about these kids, and it's about our community. Getting people, because let me tell you, this is a term that's real. Hurt people hurt people. I just said something when I said something. Hurt people hurt people. I'm just saying. Just saying, man. If we don't get these people some help, they're going to hurt somebody. And whether that's physically, mentally, hey, it can happen. Hurt people hurt people. You see these school shootings and all that stuff. These are some hurt young people. For some reason, whatever it is, they're hurt. And we didn't deal with their mental health. And we paid for it. And we have to start dealing with the problem at the core. So I'm telling you what I see and what I want to happen and what I want to see happen. It's cool to have all these organizations. Man, look, we got some of the best organizations there is in the city of Kankakee. But it's not doing us any good if we're not actively every day searching for those people that need these services. Okay, like I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna give a shout out to an organization that I see doing not good things, great things. Still I Rise. Now I just talked about kids having PTSD and kids suffering with depression and things. Guess what? There may be hey man, it's 12 degrees here in Kankakee, Illinois right now. It's 12 degrees. I'm looking at my thing on my car. It's 12 degrees out here. It's some kids that are homeless and don't have a coat. Well, groups like Still I Rise do an active job and helping people get clothes, helping people get coats and things. So shout out to Cara and Aaron, to Cara Robinson and Aaron Robinson. Hey man, doing great work in our community. Doing great work in our community, trying to help people get clothes, food, shelter. I'm telling you, man, these are the things that we have to do as a community together and support organizations like that and let people know where these organizations are at. I tell people all the time, hey man, you on Facebook for all the BS, get on Facebook for something that can help somebody. All these organizations that I'm mentioning, the NAACP, Still I Rise, Live Free, Kankakee United, all of these organizations are there for that, to help the community, but put your feelings aside. Oh man, this person is in charge of it. I don't want to deal with it because I don't want them to know my problems. Hey man, this is a community. We ain't here to judge nobody. Nobody's perfect. Nobody's perfect. Nobody's perfect. Remember, I go to church every Sunday. Well, every other Sunday night because I work every other weekend. But I'm gonna tell you, I'm in church every Sunday. I do devotion every morning. And there's one thing I can tell you, that all have sinned and come short of the glory of God. So we all got something to repent for. We all got something that we've sinned about. My cousin Rodney Lake, shout out to him at that meeting that we had in the community after the shootings. He said that there's a spiritual problem, so we have a sin problem. Absolutely. Absolutely. But guess what? The black church got to get more involved. That used to be the head of the black community, the black church. But for some odd reason, we've shied away from the church. We need to get back to that. How do we get back to that? Hey, boots on the ground. What do I mean by boots on the ground? Jarvis Harris, Andre Gray, a lot of the guys, we used to get together as kids and shout out to Mr. Odie Jordan this morning. Odie Jordan never said any, and back then they used to say, oh, it's a separation between church and state, all this junk. We prayed every morning when we got off the bus right there in the cafeteria. Okay, we prayed every morning. All right, and we did devotion every morning. We read a scripture and prayed before we went to class. Okay, when I say boots on the ground, I'm saying a lot of these preachers and a lot of these pastors and a lot of these church members and a lot of these ministries within the church need to get in these schools and get these kids and teach them about the Lord. I'm telling you it'll help. I'm telling you it'll help. You want to know how you know it'll help? Look at these kids right now with their platforms in football, basketball, whatever. What's the first thing they say? Giving glory to God. God is the head of my life. That's big time for these kids. And guess what? To show you the networks don't want to make people mad, look, man, we got, the same money everybody making. Look on the back of that money. What does it say? It don't say in man we trust. It don't say in JJ we trust. It say in God we trust. I'm just saying. just saying. So we need to get back to the roots, and everybody needs to work together to deal with this trauma and this mental health problem we're having in our communities. Because if we don't deal with it, we're going to continue to have the problems we're having. We're going to continue to, as Assistant Chief Austin said, we're going to continue to funeralize. We're going to continue to be in court. There's a lot of things we're going to continue to do if we don't get a hold to this problem and make our kids and make our communities a priority. And everybody needs to put their feelings aside. Because let me tell you, it doesn't matter whether you're a Democrat or Republican, black, white, Hispanic, old, young, rich, poor. This affects us all. And until we all come together and put our differences aside and say we're here for a common goal. See, I go home to my family. But when I'm out here in the community, I don't care if that person doesn't like me or not. We're going to work together to deal with our issues. And this is one of our main issues in our communities. This is one of our main things in our communities is what? Mental health. Mental health affects it all. Trauma affects it all. If somebody's dealing with some trauma and it's untreated, and then you add alcohol and drugs, and then I put a gun in their hand, what do you think is going to happen? Acting off emotions, no proper coping skills. This is what happens when those things happen. And I'm getting sick and tired of it, and we need to do better. We need to do better, okay? We just need to do better. So, thank y'all for tuning in this morning. Don't forget to share this video, share this video, share this video. Hey, later on, this will be available on Spotify, Amazon Music, and iHeartRadio. And you can also go to YouTube and come back to Facebook as we are live on YouTube and Facebook right now. Okay, thank you all for tuning in, and I love you all. And don't forget, as I end all my videos, every day we get better or worse. We never stay the same. And remember, if you don't have a seat at the table, you are on the menu. May God bless you. May God keep you. And you have a happy Monday. You have a happy week. And I'll see you next week on I'm Just Saying. Thank you all, and I love you all.